Do you know, I've just about had it with this bloke. I've just about had it. He is a charlatan. He is a fraud. This week, getting up at the COP climate change meeting and saying we need to do more for climate change, and Britain is dedicated to hitting net zero targets.
Although we've made great progress together, the world is just not moving fast enough. Climate science shows that we're off track.
When a couple of weeks ago, when it suited him, when it pleased a certain section of his voter base, he was saying ULEZ is a disaster.
If you were London Mayor, would you have extended the ULEZ zone that's coming today?
No, disagree with what the Mayor is doing. I think people and families are struggling with the cost of living. That's obvious to everyone. And at that time, the Labour Party, the Labour Mayor, Sadiq Khan and Keir Starmer are introducing the ULEZ charge, which is going to hit working families. I don't think that's the right priority. I don't think that's the right thing to do. And I wish they had not done it.
We need to roll back on net zero. We're going too fast. We need to issue more contracts to drill for oil in the North Sea, because at that moment it pleased a certain section of his voter base, particularly in a by-election that they won where people were disgruntled about ULEZ. Roll forward a few weeks later, when it means something to him to impress his world leaders on his fight for climate change, he reverses his policy. People say Keir Starmer's a flip-flop. And, you know, there's a good argument for that. But Sunak this Tory party in general is just as bad. We need an election. Like, we needed an election a year ago, but we need an election now. How can this Tory party justify still governing? How can they actually try, with a straight face, sit there and say they have a mandate for governing when they've had 3 prime ministers since the last election? The last 2 have not been voted in by the public. They got a foreign secretary that's never been voted in by the public. They are not following policy from their manifesto that got them voted in 2019. They put a pledge to lower migration, record number migration. They had a pledge to commit to net zero. They're rolling back on that. How can they seriously, with a straight face, say that they have a mandate to govern? They need to call an election. And I really wish that more interviewers would bring this to Rishi Sunak, because he can't justify it. He can't justify governing. He has no mandate to govern at all. It's not what the British people want. You need to put it forward to the British people. And we're just going to have another year of the country just not being governed. Because all this Tory party are doing now is they're either laying traps down for an inevitable Labour government that are going to come in after them, or they're just having a constant power struggle within their party for whichever faction wants to become leader. Suella Braverman, Gove, whoever wants to fight for it. And they are just solely looking to appease and flip-flop between different voter bases that they want to please. Like I say, at one moment they're trying to please the anti-climate change section of their voter base, and then they're trying to appeal to Lib Dem voters by maybe being a bit more pro-climate change, and then there'll be full-on Rwanda policy, and then they'll think, oh, the Lib Dem voters might want that, and then it comes back. They're just pick a side. Just pick a side. Just pick what you want to do and put it to the British people and let them vote on it. Because this wishy-washy, we're going to flip from this side. We're going to be pro-immigration. We're going to be anti-immigration. We're going to be pro-climate change. We're going to be anti-climate change. The country needs to govern. It's too important right now. The world is the economic situation that we're in. Everything. We need to have a government that is actually going to govern. Now, I don't care which side of the political spectrum you sit on. Wherever your politics are, whoever you want to win, we just need to have a government that's actually going to govern. And we can't go through another year of not having the country governed and just flip-flop politics, not getting anything done because they don't want to improve the situation for an inevitable Labour Party that will come in. And a year, I can't go through another year of this. Too much damage is going to be caused if we go through another year of this, honestly. Now, I'll tell you what would be nice and refreshing though, when eventually he does actually call an election. You know how it goes. He'll come out and he'll go, you know, it's time for the British public to decide the future of the country, and now is that time, and all the rubbish. But you know he's calling an election because he probably thinks that it's the most likely time that the Tories will win. I'd just love it if he was just honest. Wouldn't that be great and refreshing? I think the majority of the country would actually respect Rishi Sunak more if he just come out and went, right, we're calling an election because, do you know what, to be honest, it's probably the most likely time right now that we're going to win. I'd respect him. I'd have so much respect for him if he came out. The British people will come out, but that's not going to happen, is it? Whenever he calls an election, he's going to come out and say, it's time that the British people are heard. We realise that we need to show our case to the public and let them decide if they want to carry on with us. Or so, some jargon, but it'd just be nice and refreshing if he just said, do you know what, I think it's probably the most likely time we're going to win. I just got really angry with this guy because this week, and I'm constantly angry at the Tories. I'm always angry at the Tories, but this was just such a blatant lie. When last week he's rolling back on net zero, he's putting forward contracts to drill for oil, and now we need to do more about climate change. It's just, he's a fraud. It's an absolute fraud, and it's just disgusting. Before I go, I just want to mention, I'm going to get this going up. This should go up on Saturday. Tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, I'm going to be doing the Sunday roast with Political X and Max Roadspear's channel, the Sunday roast. I'll put the link down below. Please go check it out. I had a really great conversation. I always enjoy talking to these guys. So yeah, and if you're watching it after the fact, you can click the link below. I'll put the video down there. You can check that out. If you enjoyed the video, click a like. If you haven't subscribed, you can subscribe up there, and there should be another video. You can check that out as well. Till next time, fucking Sunak, piss off, Sunak. I've had enough. We've all had enough. Just fuck off.